Hey there, welcome to my unboxing video. My elastic stage unboxing video. This record I received quite some time ago, but I've not actually got around to opening it and unboxing it. And I'm actually quite looking forward to doing this video because um, it's quite special for me, really, this project, because what it is, it's based on this music's based on the bands that I used to hang around with, and whose only real music and recordings, as I know that I know of, is actually on my YouTube channel. So as far as I know, they don't actually have any recordings that of their music. It's actually based on the band. I've got to be really careful about this because it's on the band that I can't really say I'm in contact with anymore. So I've got to be careful on how, of how I approach this. And that, I don't say anything personal on people I'm not really in contact with anymore. I did actually, so I'll give you some backstory. Okay. And then we just think, yeah, Kitty Conehead On Fire. So they're called Kitty Conehead On Fire. Um, when when I was hanging around back in 2007 and in Lawrence, it's just a really cool thing. It was a project they just started between three people. Um, one of those people, one of the persons, they went on to do something called Cloud Dog. The other two, they had numerous musical projects, and they moved to Seattle. The other couple, and one of their projects was quite successful. And they actually I got to saw them on their European tour. But that was the last time I saw them in person. That was about 10 years ago in 2013. And I spoke to one of the guys, Danny, about a couple of years ago on Facebook, and he recommended me going to Lexington to see a band. And Lexington is where I actually saw them on their European tour. He also did a Japan tour. Anyway, I won't go too much into that. I'm just going to go on the band itself, um, which um, which was formed in Lawrence, Kansas. But the people that formed this band, they weren't actually from Lawrence, Kansas. They were from elsewhere. They were from. I was not sure because I wasn't going to go too much into the personal side because I don't really know. But I think I can give this information. So they were from. Um, uh, so you had Ohio. I'll give you a mix. Ohio, California, Oklahoma, and also South Dakota was the other top person that wasn't actually in the band. And I actually had an opportunity. They actually asked me, Lawrence Candace, if I can play the tambourine, but I sort of turned it down. They said tambourine's important, and I didn't actually play the tambourine. They just, so I could. So it happened. It was the case that instead of playing the tambourine, I just um, I just sort of tagged along, and I didn't really do much really. I was just a tag along person. I just brought a VJ camera that I brought in. I forget the name of the store now, but it was like $350 for this VJ camera, and like compared to today's quality, it's very grainy. The actual it's very dark, and you actually to have any good sort of recording from it, you'd have to have a good light. A lot of the footage I caught on there was I think it was quite dark, but I think like maybe back in 2007 it wasn't a bad camera. I know like 2007 I did actually have a mobile phone which actually it did actually have what is it a camera and a video camera, which I was able to do some recording. Bits. I think it was like you could only record a little bits or something. I can't even remember if it had sounds, but even it was considered quite good. Anyway, that's going a bit off track. Anyway, I should say Elastic Stage. Let me just talk about Elastic Stage because Elastic Stage, they're really good. You can order. They're actually another thing I should say. Last Six Stage are actually doing a promotion at the moment in July. If you want to go, they've got 20% off. I know um, where they're doing the promotion. Actually, in fact, I might put that in the comments or link just so you got that. So, if you come across this video and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to know any of that stuff, at least, and you're thinking about using List at Stage, at least you can say you've got a 20% off voucher if you were going to use them. But yeah, they're really good. So this took a bit more longer than usual, and they did actually give me a discount because of that on the next one. So anyway, this music project is a side project of mine. It's called This Is Not KCOF Baby. The reason it's called that is because on my music videos, the guy, I wasn't going to go too much into personal, but I think I can say the names. So Jim, he was like, in the trailer, he goes, "This is not KCO." No, he didn't say this is not KCOF Baby. He goes, "KCOF Baby," and it's like, yeah, just mucking around. And he put that in the trailer that we actually did. And actually, that trailer, the trailer, we actually spent all of the actual recording we did, the music. It was all done like, we didn't have any edits now. I just like recording when I can, and it was just literally capturing things how they were. And things are like, I didn't record things all the time in Lawrence like that, but we wasn't in Lawrence for that video. It's Oklahoma, but where a lot of pretty much like how I recorded it wasn't staged basically, and it was like that. I was hanging out with Jim like every night. It was like that, like, pretty much every night. Like what you see on the camera was how it was. I think we did do like a bit because the camera was playing, and he did like do a few things for the camera and stuff. Because he was that kind of guy. But I think it was like what was I going to say? Yeah, I was going to say now, but yeah, I mean, it's basically that's how it was every night. And yeah, anyway, so I did actually try and I contacted, I did try and reach out to the band, and with this, I did actually offer them a free copy of this record. I tried to reach out to them, said, "Oh, do you want me to post you one?" I said about the project we've been doing, because what I tried to do, I tried to, because this is all 100% AI, and I tried to recapture, well, not recapture, I actually tried to, it's more like it's almost because, I mean, they had some really good songs. It was almost like an extension of what they'd done. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to like recreate the sound as close as possible, so that it did actually sound like it belonged within Casey, Kitty Conehead on Fire. And I think it actually does. I mean, I wasn't actually in the band itself, but I've not actually got the band's what do you call it? Um, you know, endorsement of the music or anything, even though I tried to reach out to them. But it does sound like them, and it's kind of crazy because they've not really published anything other than my YouTube videos. So for the AI to actually understand that and recreate it, and to actually do that, I use a chatbot. And the chatbot, even though they're not like, I mean, it knew the main band, but the band that Jim did as well. It's sort of like had an idea of that and the music which influenced that music. And using that, I didn't actually do any direct cloning of their musical voices, apart from the song that I did at the end after I made these ones. And the reason that song isn't actually on this album, and actually that song is also in. That song actually got played in Dover High Market Square. There's actually a video of that on YouTube, and that's called "We All Lit Something." That one I actually took a sample of one of the actual music, and that's why it's not on the thing, because I didn't get the permission to do that, and I just used that bit just to just having fun. But I didn't realize at the time that actually I took it from Sleepyhead, the song Sleepyhead, and I took that show, and if you heard that song, you could hear the dun 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 dun, 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 dun. I can't do it, but it's like with the sort of the sort of chimes. Dun, 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 dun. They'll build it something. I'm not musical, by the way. I'm tone deaf, but so I won't try and I won't try and do that. But if you had that music you could hear and you heard it super head, if the band heard that, they would know for sure. But the music on this one, so there is on this four track EP, this was actually done before that. I've not taken any direct samples of music. I've not played their voices at all, but it's got their sounds, and they've not so they've not like released, as far as I know. I mean, they had a my. This is like back in MySpace days. Like they had a MySpace page. I don't think the MySpace is still. I don't think I'm not even sure about MySpace now. I think like I know MySpace is gone. My main MySpace, all the content on it's gone. So I don't think that they're active. So for how AI was, because about AI scraping music to teach it. So how it understood that is kind of quite crazy, really. How, I'm not sure it's got ways of piecing things together. I mean, the other thing I did do with the chatbot knew other projects I worked on. So potentially it has got stuff from CloudDog, potentially it's got stuff from the other projects. I was trying, when I was doing the prompting, I was trying to, let them know what's influenced this, etc., etc. Their later materials to try and recreate the original sound of Kitty Conehead On Fire. And I have to say, when I was doing these tracks, it wasn't like I was just like doing it and there it was. It's like it did take me multiple attempts to get this, and I've got four. So I've got like, well, including there's actually more. Well, officially there's five. There are some more which I thought which are okay, but they're not really sort of, they don't feel, good enough or authentic enough to actually belong on it. So anyway, it was sort of a no-brainer really, just because after all the 4 months to choose from, just to choose the ones which, um, I'm going to choose them. So, oh my God. So the idea for this, when I was doing this, we was looking for something like really retro and it just this is so like KCOF baby, you know. This just feels like so much like I've said there, like fully AI generated authentic sounds. And this is like the sort of aesthetic of this, it's like the what do you call it? The sort of like no frills aesthetic, like sort of retro hipster kind of thing. I don't know. It just like totally fits, and I just love this. So this is what generated when I did like Masuno. This is what came up, and obviously I think what I did actually, I think it was based on this, but I redid the image, re-enhanced it. So basically, it's basically like a touring van. This wasn't like by the way, so we didn't actually have a touring van. There wasn't actually a touring van like this at all. Well, actually, in one of the videos, there is a van, but that wasn't a van. We actually traveled to Oklahoma and we actually traveled by cars. So I can't remember. I think there must have been like the user van just to do the recording. But like this is just like just the aesthetic and the vibe just totally fits the whole thing, And I think, it's a shame they sort of turned them off. Really, I don't know. The offer still is sort of on the table, but I don't know if I can afford to budget. I don't. I've got to re-budget for it. But if they want a copy, potentially, if I can, I'll have to save up. But potentially I'll get them a copy. Um, Even if it has to be my one. Um, but yeah. So the other thing I should say, actually, I'm going to do a lot of cards to the actual. Um, oh God, I just had a bit of panic. I thought I wasn't recording there. I thought I lost everything, but that's good. So let me just nearly had a bit of a panic there. Anyway, actually, do you know what? That could be Junebug's revenge because the reason like it's called Junebug's revenge is because like in the video because we were talking about Native American curses at one stage. I think I captured that bit. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I loaded that bit. Yeah, but I did. Um, and like talking about curses and like Gene Back to Bend is sort of a bit based on that really. It's like that's where we got that idea from. You're not in the band, but you still my nachos. That's basically about me. So that's about me not actually being on the band and sort of being a bit of a sort of like you know, like what's the word? Um not a liability, but you know, but someone that could do without being there sort of thing. So it's sort of quite funny really. That's basically so that's sort of like that sort of sounds. So this June Bugs Revenge sounds like this is like Jenny's song. Sounds a bit like that. This, but this is like, well, I mean, actually, sorry, June Bugs Revenge and is more like Jenny and Dan, and also you're not in the band. It's more like Jenny and Dan as well. But KCOF Baby, this both of those, we've got two different takes on that. These sound very much like Jim's songs, like sort of crowd dog type thing. But they all sort of fit. They all sort of like totally like. I mean, they sort of belong in the Kitty Conehead on Fire. They're not Kitty Conehead on Fire, and this is why it's called. This is not Kitty Conehead on Fire. It's kind of like funny that the only release that I know of is actually a knockoff from a roadie of someone they don't even know. Like 20 years later, they never really released anything, but 20 years later, a roadie releases the knockoff AI, which didn't even exist back then, which kind of like goes into this sort of Native American curse type thing. Maybe like that's a curse. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to open this because we've got some cool artwork in there, which is just like really like, which is really cool. Just checking the recording again. I was sort of expecting something to go wrong with this. Oh, the other thing I didn't say, yeah, because I'm going to do some cards, right? So if you're wondering why I'm wearing a jumper, like this is what I was wearing in the YouTube videos. Also, like, so I bought this from Wildman Vintage about 20 years ago. Um, literally, I just keep all my clothes like from America. I mean, when I left America, I actually went to, I think it was at the Arizona Trading Company. I sold like 2 bags of like, I had like 3 bags of like clothes, like that I couldn't bring back with me. Right. And then when I was coming back from America, like the officials were like going, oh, yeah, well, I've got so many clothes, you know. And they was like joking, I'm going to sell them on eBay and stuff. That's the reason I got charged like extra money just because it was over because I had so much clothes. Like this is like after I got like rid of like 3 bags. So anyway, I've still got a lot of my clothes from America. I've even got Jim's granddad's jacket. His granddad's jacket he gave me that I wore. Which so the idea was that I was gonna because I've not been back to Kansas for 20 years. So it's like I don't want to get rid of them until I go back, if that makes sense. And it sort of inspired a song from one of my projects called Lucive Chorus, my 2007, 2008 wardrobe. That's what that song's about. But anyway, so this one's from Rodman Vintage. It's actually in pretty good shape, like considering Matt Tom to put it through the washing machine and considering how like badly my washing machine can like break stuff. But which is in even more better shape is like my Walmart t-shirt that I got, like Walmart, which is Asda in the UK. It's just like, and I wore this a lot in the video. In the video, it's just in really good shape. You know, it's like, but I'm not wearing a. I've still got like jeans I wore in America as well. I can't even remember if I wore them in that video, but I thought, I'm wearing this just for the video. I didn't when you put the jeans on. It's thought I'm not really going to see my jeans, but anyway. So back to the video. Yeah. So anyway, look, I just literally want to wear this for the video just because last time I wore this, right, was a Stereo Lab concert, and another. So there's something interesting I could say here. So Stereo Lab, right? I went to see them. It was like their first show for like a long time, and it was like in the UK before they did a European tour. So, like the band that I saw in England, the European tour, Danny and Jan's bands in 2013. So I did another music project called Pending Release, and it's basically based on a band called Cosines. And I just had this idea, right, that they were going to be at the Stereo Lab concert because they're quite influenced by like French music and stuff. And so like I was wearing this t-shirt. I went outside my house and I thought I saw a member from the band, like that from 10 years ago. It probably wasn't, but anyway, just kind of weird thing. I mean, maybe it was. It's just something else that I thought I'd add in there. I did actually do music videos for that project. I might sort of do, I'm probably gonna do like a, what you call it, card for that one. Anyway, let's just get to this. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff I wanted to say about Kitty Conehead On Fire. I'm probably going to forget what it was I was going to say, but maybe I'll remember it. Um, yeah, so I've got, I love the way they shrink wrap these. And what I always do now, whenever I open these, I never take the shrink wrap actually off the outer layer because I just think that's cool on it. Oh yeah, this is so cool. Now that is totally like this is totally Jim. This is what Jim would do. I've got to be careful because obviously I don't actually know them. And actually, the last contact I had with Jim was like literally, I'm probably like 18 years or something. Like he told me back then. I mean, I don't want to go into personal stuff, but you know, like basically, well, to sum things up, basically that they'd moved on from like they moved. So no, they've like pretty much moved on. Like that's like 18 years ago. Like when I was hanging out with Jim, like every night, it's like he's like a teenager pretty much, and like I don't know like about his family and thing, but last time was like he had a kid like 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. So it's like potentially like they've got at least one kid who's like the same age as they were when I was hanging out with him. So it's like, there's a lot of time have passed. But obviously, like, if obviously, like, my total ambition obviously would be for Kit Conehead to reunite, and play a song. Like, that wouldn't probably happen. But if I had the funds to make it happen, then I totally would, you know. I know. You can still aspire, you never know. Like, I don't know what their situation is because, I'm talking about people I don't know. So I've got, I'm just trying to be a bit cautious of what I say here. But I will say this, that back in the day was such a good time. I really felt like hanging out with them was really good. Like, it was like I had the sense of that I was belonging to something which was I just something which was really quite special. Like, and they treated me really well and everything. And like Jim did so much stuff for me. Like I mean, like I won't get into too much stuff, but like he took me to the Grand. We did like this road trip thingy, and like took me to the Grand Canyon just because like my granddad had always wanted to see the Grand Canyon, and he only passed like a year ago. So he like went through all the trouble just to drive me there. I've actually still got video footage of that. I've also got video footage because Kitty Conehead, they only did three. They did like Kitty Conehead On Fire. They did like three shows. Like, so you got the show that I've uploaded to YouTube, that's on there. But I've also recorded one of the other shows, which was at the Granada. It wasn't like the main Granada bit, it was the other Granada bit. They also did a show at Henry's. So they had like three shows. They obviously they played together, like in their like I mean they had recordings. So I mean I'm sure they still got those because they're good songs. I did actually come across a blog once about them, how they discovered them. I think it's through my YouTube songs. But anyway, so this one's so there were so many cool artwork that came out, and I had to choose them. But I chose this one, which is like a Junebug playing a guitar, and like they were totally, back in the. I won't talk about what it's like now, but back in the day, like they would totally love this. If I could go back 20 years, like to that motel room and just come up with this, they'd be like totally like, wow, this is so cool. Well, they probably wouldn't say that, but they'd be like pretty impressed. Well, I don't know, maybe not, but anyway, so this is what you get with elastic stage. It's quite cool. And I love the fact that because this is a stick, and I've mentioned this before. It feels like it's like laminated. I don't know if that's a word, but it feels like it's got like it feels like you can feel like the bumps on there, like the quite cool. It's a quite good. You can see that that's actually a different picture to that one. You got that one, and I decided to use that one for the actual thing. So we've only got four songs on it, and I think like I'll be honest, like for the songs you get, it's quite expensive for an EP. So if you're going to do an EP, do like really long songs because, or do songs which are sort of separated and just have like you can probably like because you get like what is it? I think you get like 24 minutes or something in total. Whereas like this, I've done like it's like how many? I don't know. Was it like probably like 10, well, a bit more than 10 minutes, but it's like you can use a lot more than what, but it only lets you do four songs. So you might as well just try and put them all together. I'm trying to think like there's going to be other stuff. I'm going to be like, I wish I'd said that in the video that I can't think of. I'm just trying to think, but uh, if any of the band members come across this, like, um, you know, do like, do try and get in contact or whatever. And 'cause I love to, obviously, like because the actual everybody in KCOF was an actual musician. They're talented musicians. Um, so and I think the fact it's AI, I mean, they don't need AI to make music. Um, I think the fact it's AI is probably the fact that it was like their music that it's based on. They might freak out. Well, I mean, I contacted like the potentially I know about it anyway, but whether or not Jim does. But anyway, there you go. So KCOF Baby has um so KCOF has inspired this release. It's not of them, even though they've never had a release. Um, they've only played three shows, which I was at all those shows as well. So I guess I could say, I mean, I definitely can say it's done by a genuine fan. I went to every show of theirs. I was the only person that recorded their music on the internet and put it up there. Maybe they don't like me today, but yeah. So but I mean, yeah, brilliant times. Like that time, those that it just like so special for me. It's like it just really meant being like it's just so much fun basically, like being with those, being with like maybe like they could have done without me. Maybe they wish they had. Like, but I'm just really grateful. Like the thing is, it is a bit. I don't want to go too much personal, but you could say like I don't know. I don't want to like say stuff which is like going to cause like controversy, but basically there was an issue with so I don't know, but basically there's I don't know. I mean, I could say this, but I don't want to like whoever's going to hear this is not going to know who they are probably, and so it's not going to add any sort of value. But basically, there was an issue with a bounce check, rent, and money from someone I used to live with, who I met through them, who I later met in London. Actually, got to hang out with. I'm no longer in contact with. By the way, her name was. She actually wanted to pursue a musician. I don't know if I probably I was going to mention, but yeah, maybe won't mention. But anyway, yeah. So it's funny because I was actually hanging around with her before Danny and Jen's band got signed to the label. They actually, one of their songs actually got played on Interestingly, they actually played one of their songs on Orange is the New Black, which was kind of like I was watching because I was like watching every episode of that, like really into it, like binging it. I was like, oh my God, like there's their song that who in my YouTube video. I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. Um, so which yeah, but I think like since like because they'd had so many bands anyway, like this was just like one of their bands they had. Like as far as I know, like they'll be like, I think it's like, and even Jim was like at the time, like he said back then about the videos we did, it's like, he even said it was embarrassing. Like once afterwards, like they've never officially said to take him down. I hope they wouldn't ask me to do that because, you know, I it's like I didn't record that much stuff considering what I did when I was out there. It's like one of the things I did actually record quite a lot of was this like trip I did. I've actually got a lot more of that actually. I could potentially upload more episodes. I've got all the tapes actually, that I've not actually transferred over. So I've got recordings of that. I've got recording of the other show which actually Danny actually walked out on that one, and I don't know the reason, but that was their last show, as I'm aware. I mean, maybe they've got other shows. Maybe they're still in contact. Maybe they're talking about reuniting. I don't know, um, but yeah, so they were really cool. Um, so yeah, there you go. So I'm going to do lots of cards and stuff, and yeah, I think that's it really. So I hope you like the video. Please, if you have watched this video, please. Like, I don't think anyone's going to watch it, if I'm honest. But let's just say you do. Do check out my other videos of Kitty Conehead On Fire back from the day, which is like 20 years ago. Because I think when I was, because when I back then when I was doing like videos, I'm going on and on again, but back then this is like YouTube only been out for like 2 years, was it? I think when was it? 2004, something 2000, maybe it was 2005, but yeah, I started doing YouTube like when it first came out, and I've always wanted to like back then. I always tried to do like a popular video, and like we had hashtags back then, but it wasn't like you couldn't monetize it stuff, but you still wanted to like there was still that thing where you wanted to have like the viral video. And when I was doing these videos, I was trying to do like load of hashtags, but they only really got like, I think they've had like over 20 years, like they've had about probably a couple of hundred. So they've just sort of got lost really. I mean, lots of those views are probably from myself and friends, but I think there has been some discovery there. But yeah, hopefully that reunites discovery there and their music and like Kitty Cone of Fire. I didn't say that they're actually, so I know that Danny and Jen, they do C Pony, which is the band which they got signed for. and that's the band I saw play in Lexington, London. But if you listen to like, they went, I know they did Kitty Conehead. I know that Danny Jen went and did Transmittance, which they actually sent me a CD for, actually, which I've still got some of their other recordings. Um, and then, as far I know, Jim did Cloud Dog, and which I think he did that pretty much immediately straight after. And I think he did. I'm not quite sure like what's happening with him. Like, I can't really say because I've not, obviously there's no, I've not really looked at anything. But yeah, so so I hope that this, it is just AI, but I hope that this has some sort of down the line. This has some sort of, this helps reignite something, I guess is what I'm having to say. I will also do a card for the video it played in the Market Square in Dover of the other song I did for this, the other Kitty Conehead On Fire inspired song, which just got played by accident, by the way. And actually, that song actually contained the melody for Sleepyhead. So potentially, Kitty Conehead On Fire had got played in England, but it wasn't really Kitty Conehead. It was just a sample of their song. Anyway, so there you go. So thank you so much for looking, and I hope this video, I hope you got something out of this video, and I didn't waffle for too long. But and I'll also going to put in the link to the actual. You can, if you ever wanted to, buy this on Elastic Stage, but I think I can't really see anyone really buying it. But there you go, and you never know, someone might. But yeah, thank you so much, and. Oh, the other thing I want to say is that as much I do like, I would love to expand on this. I think because now you can do your own generators now for Suno. Potentially, I could upload this music and do like an album, but I don't feel, especially with like none of the band not reaching out to me, it sort of feels that there's no need to go any more further than this. I've got the EP. Even though I do wish there was more music, but especially without the endorsement from the bands, and there's no sort of it doesn't sort of feel like there's any sort of reason to do that. But you never know. Maybe I will try and do that. I mean, what I say, I don't really feel I have the sort of um, motivation to sort of put myself into it. Without having without knowing there's going to be no reception for it. So, but I'm quite really pleased with this, and I'm really pleased I got to do this video, and thank you so much thank you for watching.